so today we're going to start by making the simplest type of face mask that I can think of. It's this very simple. We're going to put some elastic through there. I'm going to put around here. So there's a few that I've made before. So to start with, you want to find some cotton fabric. So this is cotton as well, but this is cotton jersey, so it's stretchy. This is like t-shirt fabric. So we don't want that. We want woven cotton fabric. It's not stretchy at all. And the first thing is to iron it, give it a press, and then fold it in half. Okay, can you see that all right? Then you've got your paper pattern, which is just a rectangle, or even a rectangle. And we're going to pin that rectangle down through both pieces of fabric. So the way you want to do this is you want to have it all neat out on the table, and then pin into the table and then poke it up through the corner. This is a template I got off the internet, but it's a bit too big for my face because I've only got a little face. So I've just pleated it in the middle to make it a bit smaller. So this fits me, so this is quite a small face mask, but I've also got a pattern for a slightly bigger one if you're a man. Okay, so there you go. Next thing is you want to cut it out. So when you're cutting out, you want to use your fabric shears and use the table. So put the bottom edge of the scissors down on the table and cut around your fabric. So you're cutting through both pieces of fabric right along the edge of the pattern piece. The more time you spend preparing this and doing it nicely, the better and the easier it will be when you come to the stitching. Now you can take your pattern piece off. Move the fabric out of the way. And now you want to put your fabric one on top of each other so that the bit that you want to see, the side that you want to see are inside, touching each other. And then we're going to start by sewing along these two long edges. Okay? Now for the stitching. So you've got your two pieces of fabric on top of each other. If you would like to, you can pin your fabric together like this. So if you pin your fabric at a right angle to the seam, you don't need to take your pins out when you're stitching. A couple there. And we're going to use a straight stitch and sew in a straight line. Just change the camera angle. Okay, there we go. Straight line, 1 centimetre from your raw edge. Your raw edge are these cut edges that I cut earlier. And if you look on your machine, there's a little guide, lines marking 1 centimetre, 1.5, 2 centimetres, etc. So we're going to put the raw edges up against that guide now. Put your foot down, hold onto your threads with your finger, by hand turn the sewing machine needle so that it's in the fabric, and then you're not going to lose your ends of the thread that you just threaded. To start off, we're going to do a back tack or reverse stitch. So on my machine, it's here. So I'm going to hold that down, but yours might be over here. Okay. So I've started a little way in, you'll see, maybe 1 centimetre in from the edge, and I'm going to back tack, backwards up to that start. Okay, there we go, done. And sew down. And when I'm sewing, I'm just looking here. I'm not looking at my needle. I'm looking at the raw edge of the fabric. Get down to the end. Oh, there's my back tack and back tack. 2 or 3 stitches. When I get to the end, I want to turn by hand the needle so that the needle's in the up position, so that the little bit of, see here, this bit's poking out the top. Poke that out the top, and then you should be able to just release the fabric easily and put your threads over you. You might have a little blade there like I've got. So you've done one row there. So I'm going to do the other long edge now. My fabric in, matching it up with a centimetre back tack. And now off we go. The end, back tack. There we go. The needle's up anyway, so I'm just going to lift the foot with a little pedal. Oh no. Pull it. And there you go. Now we've sewn along the 2 long edges, next step is to take your pins out. We're going to turn the face mask the right way around. So you've got your seams hidden on the inside now. And now I'm going to give it a press. Back in a minute. I've pressed that with the iron. So all the seams are on the inside. I'm going to trim off these little threads. Keep it nice and neat so they don't just get in the way. And now I'm going to do a little zigzag stitch along the edge of the 2 short edges to stop it from fraying. You could use an overlocker if you've got one, but we'll worry about that another time. Change my stitch setting now to a zigzag. So on my machine, this is the width of the stitch. So if I turn that to 4, that is going to be the width of the zigzag. So quite a wide zigzag. And here is the length of my stitch, which previously was on about 2.5. So I'm going to change that, lower that down to about nearly 2. I'm going to put the fabric under, and this time I really want my zigzag to go to the edge. So I'm going to have a little trial. I'm going to do these first stitches by turning the thing by hand. 1, and look, oh, not zigzaggy at all. There we go. There, so it's hitting the edge there, which is perfect. Then I'm just going to do a little back tack stitch, and then go down. This part's a bit trial and error really. You need to see where you want your zigzag to be, and then remember where to look. Okay, that's one side done. Take it out, cut the threads. Okay, next side. I remember where it was. A couple of back tacks. And we're off. And out it comes. There. Can you see that all right? I think so. Once you've done that, you need to fold over these edges that you've just zigzag stitched, just enough so that you'll be able to thread through the elastic that you want to use to go around your ears. So maybe a centimetre. Let's have a look. That is about 1.5 centimetres. I think That's about right. So to make it easier, it would be a good idea to press those again with an iron into place. Press those. Again, if you would like, you can pin a couple of pins at a right angle. You don't have to, it's up to you. And now you're going to stitch through the zigzag stitch or just beyond it, and leaving yourself as much room as possible to put your elastic in. So put your your machine back again to the straight stitch. There we go. One about there, I think. Needle in, a little bit of a backtrack. I'll do the other side as well. So sometimes this is the bit where the machine decides to eat your fabric. But don't worry about that. Just have another go. So what can happen is that when you get to this point, you'll still, is that focused? You get here, you've got, because it's right at the end of your fabric, I'm going to try and make it eat it this time so you can see what to do. If you don't, so I haven't put the needle in, and I've put the start right beyond the fabric. So if I start sewing now, it can sometimes get a bit knotted in. If that happens, just stop, take the needle out, lift the foot up, pull it out. It might all be jammed. If that happens, just keep moving the handle at the side until this part comes up and down. And just do that and sort of gently ease it out of the machine. And then what you might need to do is just take the thread out, take the bobbin out and thread it up again and start again. It happens. I think it's probably the trickiest part. Okay, so pretend that has happened and then have another go. So put the foot back down. I'm going to start a bit in. Oops. Probably will do it this time. Start a bit in. There we go. Put the needle in by hand, and now I'm going to back tack. And that's all the sewing part done. To thread the elastic, you want to get yourself a safety pin that's going to fit through the channel that you've just sewn. Attach it to the end of your elastic. So just put it through there like that. So you've got the safety pin in, and then just sort of fiddle it along really. Fiddle, 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 pull, fiddle, fiddle. And what you can do is get the end. You're going to have a little bit of a guess here until you've made one. So cut the end off there. Chop that off, it's a bit messy. And then I just tie them in a knot and see, you can always adjust it then. So don't tie it too tight for now. Do the other side, ruche it a bit, and then there you go. Have a face mask. I'll finish it and show it you. Here it is, finished face mask.